What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
My feet are hot.
Well, everything's hot.
Everything's hot, but
Texas
particularly
in
my
summer.
feet.
It's 120 fucking degrees all the time.
There's nothing we can do about it, but I do want to complain about it.
I'm right there with you. I had to go out and film some stuff today, and my God, it was hot. I told Sam before I left, I was like, there's like an hour limit to this because or else I'm going to be too damn sweaty and too damn hot. I was even filming inside and I was still too damn hot.
On my way driving here, I saw a man out running.
I see that too, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's too damn hot.
I literally don't understand how they're not passing out in the streets. It's a mystery.
And then I get especially bad when I see people walking in the middle of the day and they got their goddamn dog with them.
Yeah, that's
keep that puppy home.
Keep them pups at home. Keep those cats indoors when it's this amount of temperature, because even cats, no matter how many big sploots they do, they still get too hot.
We've been keeping an eye on Grump outside. He comes up. He looks grumpy.
Oh, Grump. I thought you said crump. And I was like, because he likes crumpin'.
He loves a good crumpet.
Loves a good crumpet.
But no, Grump. He like not to the extent of like Grumpy Cat, but he's an outdoor stray cat around our house, and he who hangs around. Because we feed him.
Looks a little rough like Grizz did.
No, not even like rough like that. He just kind of like, you just look at him and he's just kind of like, just kind of like side-eyed everything. But he's a really sweet guy. And he sits up on the top of our car and everything. And like he was actually waiting there for me today when I got back from a walk with the Bubbas.
Oh, look at that
He's a sweet little kitty.
You're so cute.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. I'll show everybody since I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you see him okay?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Not really.
They can get the general blobbiness of him. Yeah.
But hey, since it's too hot outside, that means it's perfect to spend it inside playing video games all the damn time, because what else should you be doing? So that is what we're here to talk about today on Team Chat Podcast. And you can listen to a new episode each and every week at when they release on Thursdays on podcast services around the World Wide Web at Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You get the picture. We're out there on the internet. Go listen. You can also watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. And you can also find us on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as a Discord server. So go check all that stuff out. Links, again, are in the description. And finally, if you want to help make the show bigger and better, just like Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L, Elise F, Zach S, Susan M, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done, you can go over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where it's for as little as $1 a month. You can support the show, and in return, we give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general Thursday release and access to a private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery. So, and like some special emotes, little things like that along the way too. It's a lot of fun, so you should check it out. And if you can't do that, that's no big deal. We totally understand. A lot of great free ways you can support the show as well, such as telling your friends, writing us a review, sharing it across your social media, all that good stuff. Help gets the big good word of Team Chat Podcast out there to the masses. And for that, we are especially grateful to all of our listeners, viewers, and patrons alike.
Heart emoji.
It's kind of harder today. I got to fight around this mic arm
today.
But there it is.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. Smooches.
The way you phrased some of that, right before we started recording, Jared and I were talking about how I've been binging cult-related, like religious HBO Max shows. Yeah. And I just like had the thought, based on what you said, I was like, we really got to start using an inflection, a specific tone that the mega church preachers use, because I feel like that's how we're really going to start to indoctrinate people.
I see, just like
to the
slowly.
Word, the big good word of Team Chat. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta like practice.
Our acronym already sounds like a drug.
I'll go get a suit. We both have to learn to become very sweaty. Most mega church preachers are very sweaty.
Turn off the AC in this house for 5 minutes and I'm there.
All right, we have to get little handkerchiefs so we can dab away the sweat when the spirit of video games, I guess,
moves us.
Moves us.
Do we speak in tongues in this cult?
Yes, but it's mostly just poorly translated video game quotes. I think that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, we just like try to I heard this one quote sometime and like it kind of sounded like this.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Oh boy.
Anyway, wow.
Anyways, let us know if you think that's a good idea.
I did love Cult of the Lamb. Why not start my own?
Yeah, see, we've already gotten some practice. We've got the thirst for power.
You just have to remember the voice lines of the villager babble from Cult of the Lamb, and that's our speaking.
I'll talk like Plimbo, my favorite one. Have you cracked into your special gift from
I did open it up.
Friend of the show, Kira?
I did open it up, take a peek at it, and it's got like an awesome art book in it.
So does the
that
Death's Door
has like
one.
individual like little like pictures for like all the different faces and animations of the Lambert. It's great.
We should have looked at the boxes closer because I'd like obviously both Cult of the Lamb and Death's Door. By the way, we're talking about the special gifts, the collector's editions gifts that Kirok got myself and Jarrett for the Nintendo Switch. I got the Death's Door collector's edition. Jarrett got the Cult of the Lamb. Both games that we both adore, but
So
I think
good.
both very appropriate for each of us.
Oh, absolutely.
And yours came with a beautiful little art book. So did the Death's Door one. And the Death's Door one came with a code for downloading the entire soundtrack.
So did mine.
So that's what I was wondering, is that like were those collector's editions both put out by the same people? Like are those from Devolver or did they like contract those out to an outside source?
Since they didn't have a actual like physical release either of those games, I'm gonna bet it was probably limited run games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
I feel like they
sense.
usually do stuff like that because they're also the ones who just like dropped their remastering and releasing Gex, like the Gex trilogy.
Okay.
And that other one from a PlayStation Classic game that is now escaping me.
Tom Poco or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not sure if that's the name, but that's always what I think of when I hear the name.
So that's why. So they're doing that. So I would imagine if anybody's remastering random like or packaging up stuff, because I know they do this a lot. They did one that was like a collector's edition of Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I think they even did one for Star Wars Racer, which I don't know why I didn't get that one. I should have.
Tom Poco is the Spanish word for neither. So I don't think that's the name of the game. I don't think it's Tom Poco. I think I was thinking of something else.
I mean, I got
my
Discord
bad.
right here. I could probably see it, but like
all I know is that
a lot in news,
I can
so.
visualize the screenshot, and I remember looking at it and thinking,
there it is. Tomba.
I remember uncharitably thinking that it looked like the ugliest game I've ever seen in my life. But that's because it's from like what, 1993 or something like that.
Probably.
It's from a while ago.
It's a little old. So yeah. So anyway, limited run games doing some good shit out there. The Lord's work.
The
Colts.
Lamb's work.
Yes. The Colts work. But anyway, all that is neither here nor there. That was the longest tangent I think we've ever gone on.
You could say it's perhaps Tom Poco. Tom Poco.
It's Tom Poco here or there.
Aquí Tom Poco acá. I don't think that's how you say it. I'm really sorry. My Spanish has gotten very weak over the years.
We're butchering it.
Oh wait, it would be like ni aquí ni aquí ni acá.
Sure.
Anyways, don't worry about it, people.
We're not here to teach you Spanish. We're here to talk about video games. And the one that we're going to talk about today is first impressions of a brand new game that's actually, by the time this episode's releasing, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the first times I think we've ever done.
I think so too.
Like a
pre-launch first
impressions. And unfortunately, it's not because we got the code or anything cool like that. We just played the demo.
We would also be breaking the embargo if we were doing that. So this is all based on the publicly available demo
for Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4.
So this is a fun little dalliance into the series because I've never played Pikmin before.
I'm really excited to hear what you thought about it because I've played 1 and 2 back when they were both on the GameCube.
Oh, wow.
Like I've played the old versions.
Right.
And then I also replayed.
Was the first one for GameCube or was it before?
No, the first one was for the GameCube.
Okay.
And finding original Pikmin for the GameCube now, like physical copies, those things are so expensive. Like it's one of those collector's edition kind of things that if you've got it, you're never letting go of it. Pikmin 2, I think, also released for the GameCube, but it was one of those like a bridge title. So I think they released both the GameCube version and the Wii version because I remember mostly playing it on the Wii, and I think one of my roommates had it for the GameCube, so we would kind of swap back and forth.
Nice.
But both versions were incredible. And then many years later, I want to say in like 2014, 2016, somewhere along those lines, during the Wii U era, that's when Pikmin 3 came out. And I tried Pikmin 3, frankly did not like it.
And I feel like we talked about that before, but why didn't you like it?
So actually, I don't want to get too much into that because there are a couple of overlapping thoughts about that that kind of have similarities in Pikmin 4.
Okay.
So we'll get to that when we actually talk about Pikmin 4.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's get into it. So Pikmin 4 is coming out tomorrow at the time of this episode's release.
July 21st.
July
Friday.
21st.
Yep.
Friday, July 21st. And it is the 4th adventure in the series of Captain Olimar. But with this one, it starts off, you do actually play as Captain Olimar for like a little bit.
For the tutorial. Where it's teaching you the controls. It's like, here's how you play the game. You're very briefly Captain Olimar.
And then it jumps back to another crew of another ship who are searching for Olimar and the distress beacon he put out on this planet, which looks like Earth because like of all the different things that are super like everything is big and human and you're super tiny. So you're on there and they have to come here and try to explore Earth and try to find you all, and then also rebuild their own ship to be able to get out there and everything, which they do through the help of Pikmin.
And the joke of the series is that this fucking always happens. Every time.
So they're terrible explorers.
They're terrible explorers, truly. Anytime any member of the Pikmin people or race, I don't really know what you would call them, species. How about a species? Probably, yeah. And anytime any member of the Pikmin attempts to get in their adorable little spaceships and come to Earth, they inevitably break apart on impact. It must just be something about the atmosphere that they are just not designed for that kind of re-entry into our pressure, maybe. Who knows? But their ships are like this big, so it kind of makes sense. Anyways, they always break apart on impact. So the first game was all about Olimar literally just rebuilding his ship, and the threat was that you only have 31 days of breathable air because to the Pikmin, oxygen is toxic.
Oh.
So the reason that all of the Pikmin wear their spacesuits all the time is because they can't breathe oxygen.
Are the Pikmin the people or the little creatures?
Oh, excuse me, the people.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm calling them the Pikmin. I was very confused.
I was like, wait, the Pikmin don't live.
Whatever they're called, because I can't remember what Olimar's. I'm just going to call them the Pik people, even though that's not what they are. Just understand that when I see Pik people, I mean a person the size of a Pikmin, a little space alien, a little astronaut. We'll just call them the explorers. How about that?
That works.
They probably have a formal name, and I've just
I missed it if it wasn't the demo. So.
Yeah. So anyways, Olimar, and in the first game, he was trying to rebuild his ship because he was going to die in 31 days if he ran out of whatever their breathable air is in his supply. Okay. So that was the entire point of the first game. The second game sees Olimar return to his home planet successfully. He finished his mission. He comes back home. He accidentally brings home with him like a fragment of like Earth, air quotes, treasure, which now that I think about it, I think was a bottle cap. We were talking about that before the show, before we started recording. I think he brings home a bottle cap. Their boss at like Pick Corp Intergalactic or something like that, whatever it's called, is like, wait, let me scan that. They find out that it's considered very, very valuable materials to their people. So their boss is like, Olimar, look, I know you just got home, right? You got to go with our other dude, Louie, over here, your coworker, your dopey doofus coworker, and go straight back to collect me as much of this crap as you can. So the second game is all about treasure hunting. There's no time limit anymore. You basically just had free reign to do whatever you wanted in Pikmin as long as you were adhering to the day-night cycle, because obviously when you get onto the planet, you can explore to your heart's content during the daytime, but at night, because of the size of the explorers and the size of the Pikmin, relative to all of the predators around them, if you're still on the surface by the time night falls, they will eat you, they'll eat your Pikmin, you'll die, so everybody's got to be in the ship and get back up into atmosphere before night falls. Pikmin 3 followed a similar format, but in the start of that game, I don't think Olimar was anywhere to be found.
Oh.
Or like maybe they may have been trying to recover Louie, now that I think about it. Because the ending of Pikmin 2, I won't spoil it, but it's like a little mysterious.
Uh-oh.
So in Pikmin 3, they may have been trying to find and rescue Louie, which, let that guy die. He deserves it. But you were a totally new crew of people, and their names were ridiculous. The only one I remember was Brittany, and I was like, really, Brittany? I mean, I guess Louie's not that much better. Olimar's really the only sort of non-normal white person name-sounding name. But there was like Brittany, I'm just going to say Greg. There was probably like a Goofus, and who knows, one other guy. There were 4 of them. And it was all about switching between the 4 different characters to maximize your opportunities in the day to collect primarily fruit. So in the third game, the threat is that your explorers, again, their ship probably breaks down, you have to repair it, blah, 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 but you also have to consistently collect food sources because your new crew of people don't have enough food to survive. So at the end of every day, you have to be processing fruits into what are basically juices. Your juice land. You're doing a juice cleanse so that your crew can eat them and you can continue on to the next day. Pikmin 4's premise is exactly what you just said. It's Olimar getting stranded on Earth again, and you're like, bro,
Stop this.
Have you not learned your lesson? Why are you still doing this? But he's back on Earth again. He's back at it with the white vans. How's that for a reference in 2023?
Damn, that's a good callback.
He's back at it on Earth once again. He fucking gets trapped or lost or whatever again. So the explorer pick people, I forget what they're called, they send a rescue crew after him. The rescue crew ship also.
Yeah, see, they're not good at this.
No,
they need
not.
to cut it out.
Yeah, their ship also breaks apart on impact, and so now they're scattered to the four winds.
It's not good.
But
it's not a good look.
I think there are six of
Six
the
this time.
rescuers.
Yeah.
So the game or the demo that we've played starts out with you taking on the shoes of the rescue team, and this is actually the first Pikmin game. This is one of the things that is very unique to Pikmin 4. This is the first time you've gotten to build your own explorer.
That's what I was going to ask you if that has been in anyone. Because,
No,
after you do the
absolutely not.
tutorial with Olimar, and it's basically like, oh, crap, you got to go save Olimar, then it cuts to the rescue team. And then, it has a little, like, it's not very in-depth. You have, like, 5-6 options for each thing.
I would say it's kind of akin to the Wii Sports Nouveau.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't.
It's
Switch Sports.
It's like
you know what I meant.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like hair, eyes, face shape.
There were 4 different awkward body types.
Yeah.
Like short and squirt. Short but like a little bit taller and shaped like a pear.
Yeah, I think that's the one I picked.
Big and squirt, which was like the big burly one. That's the one I picked.
Nice.
And then
There's one more.
another like medium height one
Yeah.
that was just kind of nondescript.
And then like the color of your jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much it. So it's not in depth, but I was also just like, oh, I wonder if this is a thing that has been in the other games before.
But it does seem to me, now you'll have to tell me, Bait, what color did you pick for your jumpsuit?
Red, because I picked blue hair.
And did that And did that make all of the other crew members' suits red as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because when I picked orange, everybody else was also
Oh,
orange.
nice. Okay,
Yeah,
so it like fits the uniform for everybody.
exactly.
Okay, cool. Very good. So really then after that, and this is where you may have to more take over being more familiar with the series.
No, I want to hear your takes.
Okay. So pretty much then after this, it really is like you have to go find the Olimar and the missing other crew members from the explore team, from the rescue team. And so you do that, and the first member that you recover is the pup-esque dog creature.
Oh, yeah. Oatchi.
Oatchi, thank you.
So his name is like Oatchi, like
Yeah.
Oatchi.
Oatchi,
He's
yeah.
very cute.
Very cute little pup.
Very cute little pup.
Has no arms, but it's like basically
Just
like a
2
big
little
body
legs.
and little legs.
You know those like old-timey big teeth wind-up toys?
Yeah, that's what he looks
that's
like.
exactly
Yeah.
what he's shaped
I mean, not like a gnarly pair of chompers, but just like
he do have chomp though.
He does.
He can do a big chomp.
And so with him, you're able to, and a little bit later on in the demo, you're able to ride them around. They have an attack where you can like charge up a dash to like bust through breakable things in the map and stuff like that. And so you set off on your adventures. You find like the first crew member. They give you some more information and like help you out with more stuff after you like where to look for more people. They also like tell you like here's what we need to fix on our ship. You need to go get this energy resource called Solari.
Sparklium, I think is right.
And you have to get like the demo only allows you to get 1,500, but you get Sparklium by collecting these different treasures around the map, which are, as we've discussed, like human items like a compass, a baseball, pocket watches,
little toy binoculars, all kinds of things.
All different kind of stuff like that. But obviously, they're big, you're small, and you have to be able to get them back to your ship somehow. Oatchi can like pull some things. Pretty strong.
Yeah.
Once you start getting Pikmin, like he has the equivalent of 3 and then later 5 Pikmin in like terms of strength.
Yeah.
But so then you start discovering Pikmin. You find your first red Pikmin, and then you realize, oh, these little like semi-intelligent creatures can help me out and do a lot of cool stuff.
It's very generous that you've called them semi-intelligent. The Pikmin, so the whole adorable factor to the Pikmin is their stupid little bodies are so cute.
So cute.
They're just like arms on like a stick body with little tiny stick legs. They've got big bulbous heads, and then these cute little flower antennae that come out of their heads.
Yep.
It starts as a leaf, but when they power up, when they get big and strong, they get a flower instead.
Hell yeah.
And they like if Olimar weren't there to corral the Pikmin and give them instruction, they will literally die instantly.
Yeah.
That's why they are such prime prey for everything else on the planet, because they are so stupid and so numerous. Truly, they've got to be a valuable part of the food chain, because
they have to.
They're like krill. They really are. They're so dumb. They're pretty much just krill.
Well, because you like find flowers that have like a number in the middle of around the petals. The petals surround this like number, and you like break that off and pull it back to your base.
It's like
and
a
then
pellet.
And that creates more Pikmin.
Yeah.
And so the first color you start off with is red. Is just your standard Pikmin.
Standard Pikmin.
Doing good so far.
Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the red Pikmin, I actually didn't really test this. I think it's true. The red Pikmin in the first and second games, I think in the third game, their defining feature is that they are fireproof.
Yes. Yeah, this is in this one too, because you do fight a couple like fire
I just
enemies
wasn't
and
really
stuff
paying
like that.
attention. I was like, oh, they'll be fine.
You know what's you're like, I know what's going on.
They're
here.
going to be fine.
And so you go around collecting these Pikmin because you eventually start needing these Pikmin to do various tasks for you around the map and everything. Like find 10 of them so you can like move this paper bag that will let you get up on this elevated area and different things like that. So it's a lot of like figuring out either A, like where to get more Pikmin, B, how to like solve this little puzzle in front of me so that you can get to a new area to get more collectibles and treasure for that sweet whatever solar sauce.
Solar sauce. You know what? Let's call it a solar sauce. I like that way
Sparklium?
more.
Sparklium.
I think they called it Sparklium. It was
so,
like literally the artifacts on the map that you are meant to collect have a sparkly effect on them. So the name is very
and it's basically you can like use these items that you find and they convert to fuel for your ship or various upgrades and stuff like that. So and then it turns out they're going to be like these underground areas that you can explore, like some caverns, or they call them sub-levels, I guess, in this one. And just the same thing, like you're looking for more artifacts and stuff like that. Now, in the demo, that's kind of all what it seemed to be. You do eventually like find two more types of Pikmin, the blue ice Pikmin and then the yellow electric Pikmin.
Yes. Electric yellow Pikmin are almost my favorite.
Well, they're pretty good. They like can fly farther when you throw them. Yeah, they also have the zaps, which is cool.
They're immune to zaps. They can't be electrocuted. Which I'm sure you probably didn't do this because you're not a monster. But if you've ever accidentally thrown a non-yellow Pikmin at an electric fence, it's so sad.
Oh,
you're like, no, I just fried him.
There was like one electric fence area.
Yeah,
and I did not throw a red.
Okay, good. You're not a monster. Were you Did you have any Pikmin die on you?
I think I had like 2 die. And like the last, it was the
restart.
Could you? I thought I could start a new save. That's true.
So, well, you wouldn't even need to. I don't know if you noticed, but this is very important for anybody that's going to be playing a pacifist run of Pikmin.
Like you?
Pixifist. Anyways, you get the idea. So, yes, I am a Pikmin pacifist. I will not let my little guys die. Didn't lose any of them in the demo.
Nice.
Also, I think they made the game easier. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But if you hit the start button, or I think it's either plus or minus, whichever one on the controller for the Switch brings up the menu. There's an option in the menu to just restart the day.
Oh.
So you don't even need a new file. You can actually, were a couple of options. You could restart the day, or I didn't try this on the Surface, but I did try it in one of the sub-levels. There was a new option to rewind time by 1 minute.
Oh.
So if you made one mistake,
I
assume that that's for people that might accidentally soft lock themselves. Because if you do something wrong enough, or at least in the old games, you could do shit so wrong that you would be like, I have to just restart the entire day. I cannot finish this task in the way that I want to now. Or you lost a Pikmin, something like that. So they built in this new option to just rewind time by 1 minute. And I was like, wow, they made the game for literal babies.
I don't even know like how I even wound up killing them. It was one of the like ladybug ones, like one of the bigger ones that you have to like throw a bunch on.
I think
it was like
bulborbs.
Bulborbs? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it might have been like, it was the one where you had to like throw it at it, but like stay behind it. So it was when it taught you to use the target lock on thing.
Oh, gotcha.
And like, it's like you're supposed to stay out of its line of sight so it couldn't charge you or something. So you're like throwing the Pikmin at it from behind. But I think that's where it did it. But I didn't even tell what happened to kill it or how many had died. I really only think it was maybe 1 or 2. So I accepted that as necessary losses and moved on.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
It was also I had collected,
Literally a monster.
I had collected all of the sparklium that I needed to complete the demo, and I was like finishing out that thing, and I was like,
gosh.
okay, I've got the gist, and was ready to move on. But move on with it. There is some combat like we're talking about. You do come across a couple like bug-esque creatures that you fight every once in a while, and it usually combat is resolved by throwing either your Pikmin at them or making Ochi, sorry, like charge them and attack them and stuff. And some of them, yes, deal ice damage, some deal fire damage. So you have to use your Pikmin and choose accordingly to whatever is going to have the best effect on that enemy type.
Now, I don't think the Pikmin themselves, except for a small handful like the ice ones, like the red Pikmin, I don't think they actually deal fire damage.
No, they just slap you real hard.
Yeah, they just slap you real hard. They can't be damaged themselves by fire, but
Right.
they don't deal elemental damage. Ice Pikmin are new to that. So the ability for ice Pikmin to land on something and freeze it, which gives your other Pikmin precious time to hammer away at them, that was a totally new mechanic, and I really like that.
Very cool.
There's a couple of other old Pikmin, like poison Pikmin, the little tiny white ones, which they're on the cover art.
Oh, so you'll find them eventually.
I'm pretty sure that poison Pikmin, and I think they were in one of the trailers.
Okay.
Poison Pikmin and my favorite purple Pikmin, the little sumo wrestlers of the Pikmin world. Both of those are coming back. Purple Pikmin are just fat, so that's their superpower. But poison Pikmin, they actually pseudo do elemental air quotes damage by being eaten, because then they poison whatever has eaten them. Unfortunately, it does mean they die. So obviously, I have never once fed a poisonous Pikmin to a creature. I would never do that.
You got to give up on the passive stuff sometimes.
Never.
Just have fun.
It is fun for me.
So basically, you get around, you collect the 15,000 or the 1500s stellar. I cannot remember. Sparklium. Good
Just call it
God. I want to say
Stellarum.
Stellarum or like Stellaris, and I know that's a game, and I don't. That's
Just
not what
use
it
a
is.
different word every time, and it'll be the running joke.
People will pick up on it eventually, I guess. But so I want to jump back to a comment you said where you think that they made the game earlier because not earlier, easier.
Jared, you're really struggling.
I
today.
am.
Oh my God.
It's because I had to go for work today. But no, so they had to. That you thought they made the game easy because I was being like I was even prepping myself for a little bit of a challenge. In that, as we discussed on the show, I'm not the greatest at like puzzles or environmental puzzles. Sometimes that you have to figure out. Sometimes the obvious solution is literally right in front of me, and I just don't see it. And so I was a little gearing myself for that, being like, I know there's going to be a little bit of that in this. Using the Pikmin to like do this thing to move this thing to do this, so that you can get from A to B, something like that. But yeah, I would kind of like finish this, and it probably took. How long do you think the demo was? 2-ish hours, probably?
I took a pretty big pause in the middle because I had to go watch a cult show, obviously.
I did half of it one day and then the next day.
I think I may have spent a little bit more time in the demo than you because I did get to my 1500 Sparklium.
So did I.
But I kind of took my time with it. I think in-game days, not including the tutorial, I think I spent 3 days on
I did too.
Oh, okay, you did?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All the same, I think I may have gotten to something that you didn't because you haven't mentioned it.
Okay.
But
let me say my thought first,
we'll
then I'll say it because that was kind of the thing. I was kind of expecting this, and I know it was the earlier levels and stuff, but that was going to be my question. Does it get harder? Because if there's not that much of an extra. And I just even mean this in Pikmin games in general, because obviously not having the familiarity with it that you do, I was kind of like, does it get more than this, or is this pretty much it? Because if that's the case, I'm kind of like, I don't think this is for me.
So, first of all, Pikmin does have some very light puzzling elements, like you said, some very light environmental puzzles, but much more so than that, I would categorize Pikmin as a strategy resource management game.
Okay.
And this was especially more prominent in specifically the first game, and I would actually argue the third game, because you had an external factor that was actively pressuring you to do a specific thing. In the case of Pikmin 1, it was you are literally on a time limit. You have 30 or 31 in-game days, and if you do not max out everything you can do within that time frame, Olimar will die, and you will fail the game.
Okay, so there's a little, I guess there was a little bit of that, like, speediness to it, or like you had to be like back by dark because like
Yes.
same thing. There was the day night
there's
cycle.
the day-night cycle.
But it really also like there was one time I was definitely out from the end because it just like all of a sudden, like I had seen the timer like slowly getting to red, and I was like, okay, I've got to be making my way back. But then it just all of a sudden was like, it's night, warning, and started like counting down from 10, and I was like, what? Where do I go? And so that like I like started just running for the home base, and I didn't get there, but it still just let me act like I did.
Did you? Did
So
you
maybe I
have?
did.
You have any Pikmin out in the field that weren't back?
No, they
at
were all
base?
with me.
Oh, they were with you.
Yeah, they were with me,
So the Pikmin also didn't make it back to base,
and they lived.
I don't love that.
Yeah, I mean, because it made a big
Interesting.
deal, making it seem like, and
There
again,
wasn't-
maybe this is the demo early level. I don't know,
And
but
there
like,
wasn't like a cutscene showing the Pikmin being eaten.
no.
That's going to warrant some more research.
Okay.
Because I'm unclear on whether or not that is something specific to the demo. Because in ye olden times,
I would be done.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I don't think. Don't quote me on this.
Okay.
I don't think Olimar himself could die if he didn't make it back to the ship, but your Pikmin most certainly would. In the olden times, if you had Pikmin that were still on the map that weren't in their onions before the night timer officially hit 0,
Yeah.
any Pikmin still on the map that weren't planted. Planted Pikmin don't count. They're safe.
Okay.
But any Pikmin that you forgot in areas of the map that were not back in the onion, they would die.
Oh yeah, see, no, it like I would like see the thing and it would say like I kept getting like tons of reminders from I think it is Louis somebody, whoever the first person you find.
Oh, Colin!
Colin, yeah.
God, they all have such stupid names.
But like but Colin was being like kept like enough where I was like, okay, I didn't leave anywhere, but he'd be like, don't forget to leave your Pikmin, pick up your Pikmin that are out in the field, and I was like, but I have them all with me.
Yeah.
And so I was a little confused with that because there was like this sense of urgency that didn't really seem to have a reason to be
That's
urgent.
really interesting. So I never encountered
It
that
could have been a
specific
glitch or
problem
something, too.
because I'm so deeply ingrained in the old ways
Right.
that my love for the Pikmin would never allow me to put them in danger.
Right.
I would have them back at the ship,
Yeah.
tucked safely in their little Pikmin beds within the onion,
Yeah.
safe and sound. So I don't know if that's the case in this game. I do know that there are a couple of other specific things that made me feel like, did they make it easier? And I kind of think they did.
So what are these? Because like, what's the thing that
Yeah, obviously
I didn't get to?
unclear about whether or not the night cycle actually matters. We will circle back to that. And I feel like one of the trailers actually mentioned that at some point you will be able to explore at night. So maybe it's a facet of that.
I
That
see.
technically you will eventually unlock the ability to explore at night, even
Yeah.
though it is more dangerous. That's what the trailer
Because I did hear like a little bit of, they would say things of like it's dangerous out there at night.
yeah.
So maybe it is like setting it up. So since that's not unlocked yet, maybe there is no penalty
maybe
in
it's
this
just
early
kinda like
stages.
a weird glitch and it just doesn't
Yeah.
penalize you. I'm not sure about that either.
Okay,
we'll have to wait
we'll
for
have
the
to check
full
that
game
out.
to come out for that.
But yeah, so I kind of was like I said, I fought lots of people. I got like close to dying with one because I don't think I understood what I was doing because like the first one actually like fought back.
One of the fire ice breathing ones?
Yes.
Yeah, the
And
fire
so,
breathing ones are always
like
tough.
they hurt Ochi, and they hurt me like pretty bad. But then I like got the treats things to be able to heal him, so it was all good. So I was kind of like, okay, I understand the like resource management of like making sure you have the right Pikmin with you and enough of them to be able to do the various things and tasks around the map that you need to do. But I was kind of like, what are the stakes here? Because there didn't seem to be a lot.
And that's really kind of something that I am also, as of the demo, unclear on.
Okay.
Because it does feel like, okay, well, the rescue squad, at least based on the demo, isn't up against a timer. Like, sure, their ship is kind of worse for wear. They've
Right.
definitely had it broken a little bit. But it's not like you have to go back and collect specific pieces of the ship to repair it. You just collect objects that contain sparklium, you bring them back to the ship. It just sort of fills a meter that naturally repairs whatever the ship needs to be able to do.
Yep.
Which, so functionally speaking, getting more sparklium does increase the range that the rescue squad can go.
Right.
So when you when you expand the range. So in the initial demo, you had like your little tiny home base section, which
Right.
there are no creatures. And actually, when you're at the home base at the start of the day, the timer hasn't started yet, which I don't know if you noticed.
I don't know if I did.
So you had to go talk to Colin and then actually depart to one of the other explorable areas. I think the place that we were at was like called the Sun-Speckled Terrace or the Sun-Speckled Patio, something
like that.
adorable like that. So that's the primary area that you were exploring in the demo. But once you start upgrading the ship, you will unlock other areas of the map and you will be able to go and explore those areas as well. So functionally, that's what repairing the ship does in this game.
And I'm sure that like as you go to those other areas, there will be more like environmental hazards and enemies and stuff. So I'm assuming that yes, like the like difficulty does tick up in some way.
Now, even that being said, so again, a lot of my information is going to be based on ye olden times, so that may or may not hold up to current Pikmin, to Pikmin 4 specifically. But I think based on what I've seen of the trailers, it looks like there will eventually be bosses.
Oh, okay.
So the Pikmin do eventually have to fight bosses, and some of those bosses can be pretty tough, and they've got a lot of health, and they're pretty hard to take down without losing any Pikmin, and that's really what I'm always working towards.
Right.
So if you sort of, that's kind of the appeal of the pacifist run, is that you create your own stakes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it was so much easier to do in Pikmin 2 than it was in Pikmin 1, because in Pikmin 1, everything was against you.
Right.
The world was against you, the timer was against you, the enemies were against you, and they were really hard. So like if you lost 5 Pikmin, you were like, fuck it. What? Sorry, bros. Peace out. But in Pikmin 2, it was like, no, I can save them all if I really try. And Pikmin 3, I didn't play enough of to really even care. Sorry, Pink Pikmin. You weren't very compelling. But in Pikmin 4, even the early stage enemies, like the little mini Bulborbs and then the bigger spotty Bulborbs, or they might actually be called Bulbears when they're the bigger ones, and then the little like fire piggies, they're not actually piggies, they just kind of look like it to me. The ice ones, they were all really easy to kill.
Yeah.
And I was like, was it always this easy, or am I just better at gaming now? That's kind of the fine line that I'm trying to navigate, because I can't figure out, like, did they nerf it?
Well, as a person who's never played Pikmin before, it was
felt
also
easy.
very easy.
Yeah, I don't love that. So that might be something that we need to explore more once the game actually comes out and see if other people feel like they kind of nerfed it too. I think that the ability to rewind the clock by a minute, also, that's honestly, and I understand why they did it. It does make the game more user-friendly.
Well, because like
Personally,
if you do have to restart the day,
it removes the stakes.
Yeah.
If you can rewind the clock by 1 minute,
you can undo anything.
yeah, you can basically undo anything as long as you catch it in time. Whereas resetting the day, you actually might have something to lose.
Well, you'll have to like go back and recollect.
You have to go back and recollect anything that you
you
lost.
find.
If you happen to, finish a particularly difficult enemy off and you completed your goals, like, hey, you didn't lose any Pikmin that time, but then you fuck something else up later on in the day, and you're like, shit, now I have to restart the whole thing.
back
Again,
again.
this assumes that you've imposed some personalized limits on yourself to make the game a little bit more difficult.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying is, I kind of agree with you. At least in the demo, it felt like there weren't really any threats yet.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the demo. It's all the early game stuff. Right. All the enemies are supposed to be pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
But also, are they?
I don't know, because like, again, completely different game, completely different, like, I would even say like difficulty level to it and stuff like that. But like, Octopath Traveler demo 1 and 2, very hard.
Oh yeah, you got your ass
Got my ass kicked.
Ass handed to you.
So I'm just saying, different game, but I'm just saying, like, normally demos, I don't feel like shy from the difficulty
I
of the
would
game,
agree
or would
with
like,
you.
or would alter it, because I mean, the whole point is you're playing it to get an idea. Of
Yeah,
you're
you're
even gonna
totally
wanna
right
play the
about
game.
that. Yeah, I think that's
So,
true.
yeah, that in of itself, I mean, like I kind of said, I don't feel like the game as a whole necessarily is my vibe, but still, it just like that was kind of just like, okay. I understand it, but also like, yeah, it didn't like help it in any way.
I totally agree with you on that. That, at least on the fact that the demo is supposed to give you a good idea of what the game is. So if both of us got the feeling that it felt really easy, I think we might both find that it is easy.
Yeah.
Except until, maybe you get to some of the later levels or some of the more challenging sub-levels.
Right.
Sub-levels are often where a lot of the bigger threats are.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the sub-levels are much more challenging. Hopefully that is the case.
Yeah.
Because if it's kind of this same level of easiness the whole time, that would sort of be a dissuading factor for
because
me.
I understand, and there's plenty of places for games that are really just chill.
Yeah, I get it.
Zone out,
Sure.
take your time, collect resources, and have fun. I mean, hell, Stardew Valley.
Cozy Grove. I love that
Yeah.
game. There are no threats in that game.
Exactly. But this one, I kind of feel, because it is like setting up this, like, you're exploring this new place. There are these threats out in the world. I feel like there should be a little bit of that danger or just like awareness of like, shit could go wrong, but like it just didn't necessarily feel like that was going to be there.
My feeling about that is that where they've probably backloaded all of that challenge is with whatever the mysterious nighttime mode is. So I'm betting that once you eventually get to unlock whatever the nighttime exploration mode is, that's probably where most of the challenge will be. The other thing that I'm not sure you got to, because you haven't mentioned it, did you get to the Dondari trial? There was a part of the map specifically where if you made it that far, like you had to get your Pikmin to remove some stuff to make it to that part of the map, and you encountered I would call it an explorer because it was sort of Olimar shaped,
right?
But it had red fur instead of being like humanoid. And then another
I don't think I did this.
It was like kidnapping another castaway, and it took the castaway
definitely
and
did
sent
not do
them
this.
up into another onion, and then the castaway came out of the onion and it was covered in purple fur. So like this like red
I did
furry
not see
thing
this.
kidnapped another castaway and then made them into a furry thing. And so what you had to do is the castaway, the rescue crew, you followed that creature down into a sublevel, but it wasn't really a sublevel. It was more or less a trial room. So
No, I did not do this.
The previous Pikmin games had something that I think was like this, where it was like a multiplayer sort of like time trial, or really just resource management trial, because the idea is you're in this contained space, a contained room, and this is for Pikmin 4 specifically. You're in this contained space where resources spawn, like enemies, treasures, etc., but both you and your opponent are in the same space together. Both of you start with a set amount of Pikmin. You have the ability to create more Pikmin, either by defeating enemies and feeding them to your onion, or gathering a small amount of pellets that are nearby your onion so that you can get more Pikmin very quickly. So the goal is you're fighting against the other person to get as many points as possible. So I actually really never messed around with the trials in the previous games. It just didn't seem that interesting to me. And having played this one, I will honestly say that the Dondari trials seem like something I will still probably not be super interested in, just because, it's not the resource management aspect of the game alone is not what's appealing to me.
Right.
The resource management plus exploration.
Because
That's
even the
what's
resource
appealing to me
management
about
that you're talking about is really just like making sure you have the right Pikmin and the right amount of Pikmin, right? The right styles and all that stuff.
You want to make sure that you've got the right style of Pikmin. You want to make sure that you're assigning your Pikmin to do tasks that they are physically capable of. You want to make sure in this game specifically. So this is, sorry, my foot was really itchy and I just couldn't bear it anymore. In this game specifically, and I'm not sure if Pikmin 3 had this too, but in Pikmin 4 they've introduced a very light crafting element.
Yeah.
Which is, there are these little, just sort of what look like glass beads, just sort of laying in piles around the map. And if your Pikmin go to those piles and bring them back to the ship, they can be processed into clay. And then clay can be processed by your scientist version, a member of the rescue team, to either create power-ups for non-Olimar, your player character, to create power-ups for your player character, or for Ochi, which I thought was really nice. Like you can get him a fireproof collar, an ice-proof collar. So it's kind of that balancing act of, okay, do I want to keep all of my clay so that my Pikmin can use it to build shit out in the world? Or do I want to use all of my clay on these sweet power-ups for me because I'm burning alive out there and I literally need the fireproof suit? So the clay was a new part of the game. The enemies that we saw were pretty standard, but I know that they're going to have added new enemies to the game. That's just sort of a part of Pikmin at this point. And if they haven't, shame on them. The ice Pikmin were new. The sublevels are not new. Those were introduced in Pikmin 2, and they've continued to be a very important part of the game. And the Dondari trials were at least new to me, but mostly just because I truly didn't engage with them. Like, I saw them, I knew it was there, and I was like, no. I'm not here for that. So peace out. I'm not going to do that. Again, based on the demo, I'm not sure if the Dondari trials are going to be baked into the story, because in the demo, I'm not sure if that was just like to give the players a taste of what Dandari is, or if it's like, hey, at certain points in the story, if you want to progress XYZ, either main or side quest, again, I'm not really sure about that, you're going to have to do more Dandari trials. Because if that's the case, that's also a problem for me. They're not bad. Like, it was fun. And I obviously blew the other guy out of the water because it was level 1 versus AI. Right. So, I mean, it was extremely easy. But again, I was like, this is really easy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm really not being challenged at all by this, which, you know, I didn't love.
Right. Especially when you're used to that being the thing. I mean, and I know that you set your own personal standard with it with the pacifist run, no Pikmin dying.
I didn't even have a Pikmin die by accident.
Yeah.
I didn't lose a single
Which
one.
usually does happen in old games.
And to be fair, I wasn't trying that hard.
Yeah, that's what I kind of just like. I would come up to an enemy and just like throw stuff at it and just like throw, and nothing I did seem to have like either a negative. I mean, like, yes, if the Pikmin element effect like it hurt the enemy, it had an effect, but like I just like was like random bullshit go and just
that's exactly
threw stuff at
Pocket
them.
sand.
Oh man, I was playing Borderlands. I was playing Borderlands 3 the other day, and my character is a Beastmaster. Is the Beastmaster class, and so like you can have a little like alien pet companion who runs around with you, but one of your abilities that you can do is you can like summon and throw these like flaming like bird creatures basically who like dive bomb your enemies, and that
sounds awesome.
I'll have to
flaming
see
flying Pikmin, if you will.
Yeah, but I think I took a video. I like saved a capture of it. I'll have to see if it's on my phone where we can hear it. But he kills somebody with them, and he says like pocket birds or something like that when he throws them.
That's awesome.
So I'll have to see. I know I like took a still of it. It's right here. I don't know if we'll be able to hear this. Okay, well I saved it there. Obviously, that's where I paused to do it. I'll have to find it. But
I believe you. It's a good looking game, by the way.
It is. It's really good. And it was like 2018, 2019, I think. So it's a few years old, but like pocket rats. He just said it.
Hilarious.
And I was like, oh, King of the Hill reference. I get that. Sorry, that was a very long drawn out.
Anyways, the point is King Dale Gribble is out here in 2023 keeping it alive, keeping the pocket sand alive.
I knew that joke and I heard that and I died laughing. I
know that Jared's been only very recently watching King of the Hill, so it's very exciting.
Season 1. It's so good.
It's so good.
Another tangent for everybody, but the smoking episode where Bobby smokes. Oh my God.
Bobby is the best character.
Bobby is the best character.
It's honestly pretty difficult for me between Peggy and Bobby because Peggy is so funny. But Bobby is also so funny. So it's like, if it's like a tandem Peggy Bobby episode, I'm like, I'm in heaven. This is the best.
So yeah. How did we get to pocket sand?
I don't know.
That's what I was just saying. Like just felt like I was just throwing
right.
random bullshit and that just like happened to work out for me. And still then, I maybe lost 2 Pikmin.
Yeah, I mean, again, this could just be because maybe we're just pro-tier gamers at this point, but I feel like in the previous Pikmin games, especially against like the bigger Bulborbs, the Bulbears or the Spotty Bulborbs, it was pretty actually difficult to make sure that you were throwing enough Pikmin at... Well, so that's the thing. The throw mechanic isn't necessarily new, but it is the primary mode of attack in this game. Now, to be fair, because this is something that I harped on to ad nauseum in the previous when we talked about Pikmin 3 many years ago, my biggest complaint about the game was that they removed what I call the swarm feature, which is in the GameCube era. You know how the GameCube controller had that awkward little yellow C-stick?
Yes.
That was separate from the analog sticks. So the C-stick, specifically in Pikmin 1 and in Pikmin 2 GameCube version, let you basically, on the ground, conduct your Pikmin as a swarm to surround an enemy and attack them from all sides. I loved the swarm feature. They kind of brought it back. I don't know how much you were paying attention in the demo because they kind of like glossed over it very quickly. But they were like, hey, by the way, if you and your Pikmin aren't on Ochi and you hit you had to get a power-up for it. That's what it was.
Okay.
Did you get like the little power-up that I think was a megaphone?
No.
Okay, if you did, so it was like one of the most affordable of the power-ups. It was like the first or second level power-up that you could get. So if you got a little item that was shaped like a megaphone, I think, it gave you the ability to, I don't know what they called it, maybe like charge. It gave you the ability to charge.
I did have that.
So if you did that while you and your Pikmin weren't on Ochi, your Pikmin would just rush forward and attack the enemy on the ground.
I see.
So they kind of brought it back.
But not quite as
It's not necessarily like you could direct
pliable.
the swarm, but they, to their credit, they probably went back and looked at Team Chat's review of Pikmin 3 and they were like, wow,
it topped the charts of reviews.
The people hate that they don't have the swarm feature anymore. We got to bring it back for Pikmin 4. So I didn't really get to use it that much just because I just was having no problems beating anything.
Yeah.
So like, why would I need this? To their credit, though, they did sort of bring back Swarm, which I like. The other thing that they sort of added that's a new mechanic is that when you're Pikmin and you all hop on Ochi and ride around together, if you then charge at an enemy with Ochi, when Ochi collides with that enemy, the Pikmin automatically jump off of Ochi and all onto the enemy at once, which is kind of like a jumping swarm.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I love that about this. But again, it was like,
with the enemies that were presented, it just felt like, this is kind of like just
it
running
just felt
all
really
over.
easy. So again, maybe that will be proven. Maybe I'll get to the main game and get to one of the night modes and just get destroyed.
Which I'm honestly, being that is the new thing, and I guess, sure, save things for the actual game itself. But I was a little surprised if that we didn't get a little taste of it, or at least like a preview of it.
I agree. I was like, they mentioned the night mode, but it's not in the demo.
The Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, was that the most recent Kirby game that came out?
Yeah.
We played the demo of that one. And it even the demo ended and it gave you here's what else is in the game, and had another mini trailer of all these different things that you'll come up to if you get the rest of the game. And I was kind of surprised that this didn't have that. It was just kind of all right, you finished the demo, you can scan this QR code and you'll keep all your progress when you do the next.
Which that's nice.
Well, that is nice. You won't lose your progress. I do like that has become a new feature of demos.
Yeah, thank God.
But yeah, it was just kind of oh, okay.
So far, I feel like we've really harped on all the things that we didn't like about the game so far, but there is, I want to say, a lot to enjoy about Pikmin. The gameplay itself, I do still find very relaxing. I really like the exploration factors. I love the thrill of finding new treasure. The sub-levels in particular, I find very engaging because that's often where some of the more puzzly aspects are. However, I already have to redirect back to something that I really don't like about the game.
Because the game is trash.
No, and this really circles back to what I didn't like about Pikmin 3. This is where I'm tying that back in. So there is something about having a group. Like in Pikmin 3, you had a group of 4 playable characters. In Pikmin 4, you are the one playable character. You can switch on and off with Ochi, though. Like if you're exploring sublevels, you can, or really anywhere, you can sort of swap command to Ochi, which is very reminiscent of Pikmin 2. So I'm fine with that. Being able to swap between 2 characters that can be on different spaces of the map at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And that part was cool.
And command their own Pikmin, that adds a big level of strategy to it. But when you make it a group, when it's like a whole group of people, and specifically in Pikmin 4, where the group of people are constantly yelling at you to do stuff and reminding you about hey, don't forget your Pikmin that are in the ground.
Oh yeah, that was happening all the time.
Hey, make sure you're back at the ship by nightfall. It's I fucking
I know. There was a lot of pop-ups. Hey!
There were so many. There were so many pop-ups. And it's oh, okay, we've only found, in my case, 3 possible castaways that are sort of congregating in the hub world, and they are intruding on my thinking time a lot. And I don't love that. And then the other factor of that, and again, this is both for Pikmin 4 and Pikmin 3, there's something about that group mentality that I think sort of diminishes the feeling of being small.
Yeah.
Because when you get into a group like that, it's kind of oh, I'm protected. I have a home base. I have a whole group of people that I can go back to at any given time. There's really no danger here.
Yeah.
Whereas in Pikmin 1 and to a lesser extent Pikmin 2, it was we're fucking all alone out here, man.
Yeah.
It's me, you, and the Pikmin.
Again,
and
the stakes are lower.
The stakes are just much lower. And something about that group mentality just makes the world feel less less mysterious.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm trying to get at. It's like, oh, this doesn't feel
because
quite
even
as new is I think the problem.
It even like kind of like it fell back on the fact that you had played as Olimar the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Because
no,
and I even
only the last 2 games.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you played as him in Pikmin 3. It was the other 4 random ass people.
But still, it's just like they kind of fell back on that because like you would discover something new and they'd just be like, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's weird. I'll just refer to Captain Olimar's notes on this."
Yeah,
and then they're just
like,
and then everything was just
discovered.
like there. Yeah.
Yes,
you're
nailing it.
And that was even something I picked up on. Not even like it's not like, hey, why don't you go collect like 5 of them, like kill 5 of them, and then we'll be able to do study.
Yeah,
or for like something like that. It was honestly funny too when you were saying earlier that like the main thing of this is like you're just going around filling up this meter to like have this payoff. I was like, you know what another game was that you just went around doing activities to fill up a meter with no potential payoff? Rage 2.
Oh, shit. It's back.
It's back.
Oh shit!
It's
Rage
back,
2.
but in the form of Pikmin 4.
Oh man, yeah.
So so
what
that
a
was kind
bummer.
of like, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I've seen this before.
Yes, and I mean, so the TLDR from me is the core aspects of what make Pikmin great are absolutely still there.
Sure.
If you loved Pikmin 3, I think you will love Pikmin 4. But if you were like me and you were kind of on the fence about Pikmin 3, like lukewarm to negative about it,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sold. Basically, I'm not sold.
Are you
Having
still
finished the
gonna get
demo.
it? Oh,
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
So I'll phrase it this way: it's definitely not a day one purchase for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's been clear. It's not a purchase. For me.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't
that's
think I'm
pretty
gonna
clear.
go. I don't think I'm ever gonna be like, you know what, I want to do Pikmin 4.
But here's the thing: I mean, it kind of sucks because I was really excited.
Yeah,
about Pikmin
I know,
4.
and this is not what I anticipated your review of the demo.
I'm sure
even to be.
that people were likely expecting it to be much more effusive because you may have recalled from the Discord I was hecking jazzed
That's disappointing
about
too.
Pikmin 4.
That sucks when
but
that
just
happens.
I mean, particularly the large group, the fact that they are constantly intruding on you. It's like Navi. It really
Yeah.
is. It's like, I hate this. This specifically is making my experience worse. So even though the Pikmin are adorable, I love the exploration factors to it, there's just something about it that feels recycled in a certain sense. And that's not to say there won't be new things to explore later down the line. There probably will be. But I'm just not sold is really where I stand on it. So I think it's going to be the kind of game of if I see it later on this year and I've like finished all of my other games, like I beat Octopath Traveler 2. Probably never gonna happen. That's not true. I will beat that game because that game is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
If I eventually beat Tears of the Kingdom, that's probably never gonna fucking happen. Not true. I'll beat it, people. If I beat Metroid Prime Remastered,
Jesus.
that one might not happen.
The list goes on.
The list goes on and on. That's what I'm saying is I already have so many other very, very good, extremely engaging games that it will be difficult for me to it'll be hard for me to choose to make the space for Pikmin 4 when there are so many factors about it that just from the demo, I can tell I'm not going to like. So unless someone comes out and they've bought someone in our Discord, if you get Pikmin 4 and if you love it and you're like, hey, the demo was misleading about these things, once you get further into it, the other castaways aren't as annoying.
Right.
Once you get further into it, it gets a lot more challenging. Once you get further into it, you encounter all of these new creatures and these new types of Pikmin, and it gets way more interesting. That might be able to draw me back in, but just based on what I've seen from the demo, I'm very not sold, which is a bummer. Because I loves me some Pikmin, but they have made some more choices with Pikmin 4 that makes me feel like I'm not sure that this is the game that I was hoping for, is really where I land on it.
Well,
So unfortunate.
That is kind of
definitely hoping
that
to
is
have
not
more
at all
of
what I
a-
expected. Like I was playing it kind of like thinking like this probably isn't going to be my jam, but like I want to try it out to see what it's about. And I was true. I was like, yeah, it's not my jam.
Yeah.
But I was really still expecting you to be like, oh no, let's go. I'm buying this tomorrow. Like
unfortunately, it feels like Pikmin 3 Redux, which I didn't like Pikmin 3, so that's where we're landing today.
well, there we go.
It's too bad
could be
because
Pikmin 3.
The one thing that we didn't talk about, the game looks incredible. incredible.
Oh, it's very pretty.
Oh my God, it looks beautiful. You know, you look back at screen grabs from Pikmin 1 and 2 and even Pikmin 3 and you're like, look at those ugly ass
Like the color
games.
palette's nice.
They're
Everything's
so
bright and vibrant.
The soundtrack is really cute. The audio design is adorable. When the Pikmin all latch on to Ochi and they're riding around on the map together, did you notice that they sing little songs?
Oh, no.
If you ride around long enough, they'll like hum little songs together, and it's like,
little
that's
shanties.
wonderful.
That's
I love
incredible.
that. So there were moments of joy that I was having in the game, but they were constantly intruded upon by moments of annoyance. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Many moments of joy, many moments of annoyance. And I worry that balance might be too tipped in favor of annoyance, which, just to say, I'm not sold. And we will leave it at that.
There you have it. Our first impressions.
And if you want to sway me, if you love Pikmin
Swear.
4, you know, after the game comes out and you're like, no, you're wrong about all of this, make your case. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear about someone that eventually plays Pikmin 4 and adores it. What draws you in? What do you think the game does really, really well? Because that might be enough to get me to go back to it and play it.
Very true, very true.
And it will also have to go on sale.
Yes.
This is not a full price game for me.
But you know where you can do that and sway Mogan's opinion of Pikmin 4? Well, you can do that by writing us at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord, talk about it with us there. Comment below wherever you're listening to or watching the show, tweeting at us or threading at us, because like who uses Twitter anymore? And then, you know, and all that stuff.
Do we have a thread?
I need to set it up actually.
Oh, okay.
But, like,
I was like, we have a thread account.
I've been meaning to do it.
Add us on Mastodon.
Or Blue Sky. But anyway, sway Mogan's opinion of Pikmin 4. You're not going to have any effect on me. So I'm the lost cause. Don't waste your time. But anyway, that is our first impressions of Pikmin 4
based on the demo.
But that's probably all it's ever going to be.
Yeah, honestly, probably.
But still, let us know what you thought of the demo if you played it, or let us know your thoughts if you have jumped into the full game already. But with that, everybody, that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Milken.
Adios, I do still love Pikmin. I didn't just mean to shit on the game, but, you know, there's certain things about it. Anyways, bye.
Just Pikmin 1 and 2. Okay, everyone, we'll see you all next time.